Let me get it. Let me see.
Just holding back.
There we
Hey,
go. Okay.
it worked.
Yeah, I got my camera connected and then it just wouldn't switch over.
Oh, okay.
It just like wouldn't like I could see it in the settings on Zoom, but I couldn't hit the X on the video camera button. So I kind of figured out it's got to be a software issue. So I quit
All else
out.
fails, reboot.
Yeah, exactly. It's a classic. Have you tried turning it on and off again? Or
Yeah.
off and on again?
Okay, we'll hang out. We're live, by the way, on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Hi everyone.
I'll give Jeff another 4 or 5 minutes before we start.
I overheard you talking about the meeting notes, which was funny. The being singled out thing, that was pretty funny. Um, but you were using like a clip, you said, like one of the AI clips.
Yeah. Well, no. I don't know if we're referring to the same thing. Plaud, Plaud. There's two devices. There's this clip, and it also works as you can hang it around your neck or you can put it on your pocket and it records. But then they also have this that just kind of drops on the back of your
Oh.
phone. And there's a little button there that you push to start it. And the switch on it, if it's down, it's for recording like a meeting. If it's up, it's for
Yeah.
recording a telephone call.
It just uses
Does it
USB.
record off a microphone on that device, or does it record with your phone's microphone? Well, I guess MagSafe can't transfer data, so it's got to be built
Yeah.
onto the device. Okay,
Yeah, I think
interesting.
it is. I mean, I know
That's
I know it is with this, but then it wirelessly connects and uploads the audio file, which then you can get a transcription of, and
That
they
is
have a
cool.
template for like meeting notes, so you can just say put out meeting notes. And so far, it's been spot on in terms of organizing the topics and meetings that I've been in.
I like, yeah, I would like one of those. It looks great, and I like that form factor. Having it clipped to the phone like that's pretty genius, actually.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
then you kind of just always have it with you.
We need to have a discussion about that on the show, my friend.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll do product stuff, but um, I've gotten it in the last week, and
Oh, no, that's not
it
that
was
too expensive. What,
what?
$160?
Yeah, and
That's not too bad.
I have the ugliest watch band that comes with it. Looks like something a kid would get. But if you want to put it on as a watch band,
You're serious? You could put that big thing on your wrist?
supposedly you take it
Oh,
and
there's
I
Jeff.
don't know, I didn't get this far, but
Yeah, so you can talk to
you
people and
take
just
it
be
and you
like,
drop it.
into my wrist, please. Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it. Well, I shouldn't say it because we're streaming. I got some
I guess I showed
blowback.
up at just the right time.
Hey,
Once
Jeff.
they assign me the duty to take notes during the faculty meeting, which is a way of saying we really don't want you talking. Um, I said, well, that's fine. I'll record it and use AI. And they're like, no, you can't do that. You have to do it the old-fashioned way. And I'm like, well, then maybe you should find somebody else to take notes.
Hey, I'm gonna let's talk about it. We'll see where the timing goes, but I'll put it in here just in case. You don't mind.
All right, no, I don't mind.
Holden, I feel like it's been forever. How are you?
Doing well. It has been a while because I was on, was it a few months ago?
Month? Like,
But yeah, month or yeah. But I think you weren't there that day, Jeff.
Very likely. Yep.
Do you have a new setup?
that's his cool.
I combed my hair.
That is a setup.
That's better than most of us.
So
I feel like
maybe that's it.
I think the red and blue paintings are new, or maybe I'm just remembering wrong.
The red and blue paintings have been part of my background for quite a while.
Okay, so I'm just remembering.
What you
it wrong.
what you can't see right now, and maybe I had the angle different last time, and you can
Maybe
see part
that's
of the
what it
green
is.
one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So my
There's a
paintings.
is
Oh,
that
go
like a
ahead.
Mondrian effect? There's a
Yes.
cultural reference. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, the paintings behind me, I made them as a very deep cut joke for the graphic design world. So I have RGB behind me, and everyone's like, "Oh, cool, RGB."
Ah,
But that is a transmiss. So that's the transmissive color space. But I'm representing it with a reflective color space.
That's a very
And
deep joke.
yeah, so um I keep having this grand plan of getting like some smaller canvases, and I'll do cyan, magenta, and yellow, and put those up in there too.
but
But so far it's just my RGB represented in reflective color.
well, but Jeff, if it's RGB, shouldn't it just be black with a frilly collar?
Well, if I put them all together, yes.
Okay.
I got that. I got what you were doing there.
Uh,
R.I.P.
He is the best when it comes to his funny stuff. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Wait. I'm kidding.
Underpants.
Underpants. We have Chuck Joiner's underpants.
All right, let me start audio hijack. There we go.
Oh, Marty, that was very dramatic.
and how did I lose my lighting?
Your Cubs logo's above now.
Oh yeah, I know that. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you. Go wait. All right.
You probably heard that with the microphone turned off.
You're one of those, like Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're far enough away with speed of sound. 3, 2, 1.
Two.
There we go.
Yeah,
Just
there-
got it.
Jeff, give me a little bit more gain, like a smidge.
I can make that happen.
Thank you.
Red Podcaster and. Okay, I bet that sounds better.
Yeah, that's good.
I can give you more if you need it.
Sounds good. We're good.
Okay.
All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 343 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my guest this week is Holden DePardo. Welcome back to the show, Holden. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. Great to have you as well. Also here is Marty Gencius. How you doing, Marty?
Good. It's Thursday night. Tomorrow is Friday, and I've got
Yes.
no meeting scheduled, and so I'm just loving this time together on Thursday nights with a regular basis. So
Absolutely.
it's probably you catch me at the best part of the week.
I'm always pleased to hear that. And also here, Jeff Gamet. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great, and I'm happy to be here with all of you. And Holden, I have to say, your voice sounds delicious. It sounds so good. I would have to speculate that you're on a Rode mic.
I am. I'm on a Rodecaster Pro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good guess. I think we actually have the same mic, it looks like, but mine's darker.
Yeah. You have the XLR input version,
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
and I have the USB input version.
you
So
go.
when I was doing my old podcast, I just told them, you just decide, because we did it for a while. We want to get better mics. And I'm like, you just decide. I have no idea about any of this. So he just told me what to get, and I got it. So, credit to him.
You got good advice.
You did?
Yeah, it's a pretty great, it's held up great too. But anyway.
Yes, it's a great mic. All right, let's we'll jump into the show here. Breaking news, as it always happens when Apple reports their financial results. It happened earlier today as we record. In touch with Vision Pro, in touch with Mac, and there's lots of news stories, but let's jump right into the breaking news. Apple reported record revenue for quarter one of 2025. That covers the last 3 months of 2024. As expected, it was all-time revenue of $124.3 billion, up 4% from the previous record set 3 years ago. But probably notably is that the iPhone revenue was down 1% from the year ago quarter, which will certainly upset some analysts and investors, given that the iPhone is more than half of Apple's total revenue. But the Mac jumped up 16%, the iPad was up 15%, services up 14%, and the recently sluggish wearables, home, and accessories category was down 2%. So, as like they said, 56% of Apple's business is iPhone. It's always hovered around 50%. I thought last quarter dropped a little bit, but I guess it did pick up a little bit. But I'm telling you, services is just crazy how that has been increasing every quarter. Now at 21% of their business. That's a pretty amazing, I must say. And then wearables, Mac, and the iPad bring up the rear there. So not bad numbers. Total profit was $36.3 billion, and their gross margins 46.9, and revenue change was like 4%. So all across the way, it looks like some good numbers here for the most part. But like he said, we're thinking that since the iPhone did so bad, Apple is doomed.
That'll be the next article that somebody puts out.
Yeah, Apple is doomed. So,
are people losing interest in iPhone?
Yeah. Hold on. Why don't you give us our thoughts? Your thoughts, or how these numbers look to you?
I actually was surprised it was record-setting. I kind of felt like with a lot of the bad press that was going on, and the fact that the 16 isn't hugely different than the 15, that like maybe it would level off, and I guess it did, but I didn't expect them to like make up for that in such a big way across the board. Yeah, I don't know, that very much surprises me. I guess I just don't think about Apple services a whole lot. They're just kind of there.
Oh.
I don't really think about them a lot.
You kind of have to, honestly. I mean, it's just a huge. I mean, that's just pure profit from services. Services don't physically cost them something. I mean, yeah, they have to have a backbone network, servers for iCloud and such. So, what about you, Jeff? What do you think of these numbers? I know this is fresh in all our minds here. But,
It is so fresh because the way my schedule has worked today, I'm looking at them for the first time right now. And
that means I'm going to get hot off the presses with your
hot off the press. And what I'm looking at, all right, so here's my hot take. Q1 is always the big quarter because that's the holiday buying season. So I'm not surprised it was a record-breaking quarter again. I think there are a lot of people that were jonesing for new iPhones. And while for us in the echo chamber, there's not that much, different between a 15 and a 16. But when you get outside the echo chamber, you're looking at people that are upgrading from 11s and 12s and 13s. And so this is a significant upgrade for a lot of people. When I look at the overall numbers for the quarter, yeah, there you go. It shows to me that Tim Cook has been brilliant with the way he has strategized the product mix for the company, because their bread and butter product, the iPhone, dipped a tiny bit year over year in sales. But I mean, it's if you look at it compared to the rest of the year, it's a big jump up. But then look at services. Tim has done a really good job of taking Apple down the path of diversifying their core revenue streams. So at some point, the iPhone will not be the core revenue generator for the company, and that will be okay. What I'm seeing with the numbers here tells me that will be okay, because we will have services and whatever else that's going to grow and take over that that core revenue spot. Doesn't mean the iPhone's doomed at all. It just means that we're going to get more growth in other places too.
Absolutely. How about you, Marty? What do you think?
It never ceases to amaze me that Jeff can just look at something for the first time and have an opinion right away.
I have an opinion on everything.
Why he's such an important part of this show. He
Yeah,
can do
I know.
that and
Yeah.
be that
You're
time.
far
that
too
talented.
kind.
I thought, okay, so this is the quarter where you're going to see the holiday rush shop and buying.
Right.
The services is really cool. I know people who may only have one Apple product and they're starting to find out about the services, particularly Apple TV and other kinds of online services, storage and such. And they're investing at that where they're not necessarily looking at buying a new iPhone to do it with. So the services is encouraging. The wearables, is it that sluggish headset, that Vision Pro headset that caused the drop in 2%? I don't know. That's a big ticket item, but it's also a holiday, could be a big holiday item too. Or is it, hey, we're waiting for the new AirPods to come out, and we're going to hold off on purchasing a lot of AirPods during the holiday season until the new ones come out. It's only speculation, but it's overall, it's great to see them still doing well economically, despite some of the concerns we have with the economy and spending right now.
Yeah. And look at Mac. I mean, the last four quarters were single-digit increases, 16% increase year over year for Macs. Obviously, with the introduction of the M4 Apple Silicon processor was a huge factor in that, as well as the Mac Mini. That was a huge piece of it too, because a lot of, I'm sure they sold a lot of Mac Minis. I could tell you that. They suckered me into two of them, so I know that for a fact. So, I think that area of their business is looking really, really positive, I think.
Look at the iPad sales up.
iPad too.
And wow, okay. And look at it year over year, the revenue change for iPad sales. That's significant.
And that there too, M4 iPads came out earlier in that quarter. And so they were able to generate some excitement with that. The iPad Mini had the iPad Mini 7 came out. That helped, I'm sure, business a little bit on iPads. But the big key is the M4 in the Pros, and the Air was selling really well too. The iPad Air. Overall, I think numbers are good.
I wonder though, Dave. Yeah, if we pay attention to that, we know there's a new chip in there. Yeah. But does the average person walking into an Apple store go, "Oh, I'm walking in today because they have M4s where they only used to have M2s"?
Probably.
I think the Mac Mini probably did have that effect though, just because its form factor is so much different. It's very versatile. I think the Mac Mini definitely could have had an impact on that, and then M4 is just kind of wrapped inside that.
Right. But I mean, overall, they look great. Services, we'll go back to services a little bit. I mean, I think that Apple One bundles, I would imagine they obviously don't tell you the numbers of where that's at, but to be up that much and people paying for that bundle, which I do, and many of us do. It's well worth the value of what you get from that. And it's like I said, it's so much profit for Apple. I mean, that's what you've seen these numbers continue to increase. I just like to see them just make some, add more services, improve what they have. Obviously that we've talked about this before. The iCloud with the 5 gigabytes of free storage, or maybe just look some new tiers. I hope they start to look at that, but they probably won't because they're still making money. So why change it, right? People are paying for it anyway.
It's the easiest upsell ever. It's $1 for like a decent amount of storage, and then we'll talk about how many users they have. So like they're in a good place there.
Other information about this too is Apple. Tim Cook said there's a lot of innovation left for future iPhone development. During the call, he was asked whether or not they felt there was room for a form factor innovation in the future iPhone models, like iPhone 17 Air. course, he often declines to provide any insight into future products, but he did give some encouraging answer. I think there's a lot more to come, Cook said. I could feel more optimistic about our product line. And he went on to say that there was room for change in the iPhone lineup. I think there's a lot of innovation left on the smartphone. So great to hear. And he also, in a separate question, he said he was asked whether or not the super thin design of the 12.9-inch M4 iPad Pro was driving iPad revenue, but he said Cook said that wasn't the case. The iPad Air, like I said, is the one that was responsible for the 15% revenue growth, because that's the most value you're going to get. No surprise at all there with that. So, so that was kind of cool to hear that part. The install base for has reached its new height. Apple did disclose that its install base has reached a new high, but the active device growth rate is down compared to the previous year. There are now 2.35 billion actively used Apple devices around the world. A new milestone that this represents is an increase of 2.2 billion that was disclosed in February 2024. That's 6.8% growth rate with 150 million devices across the year. So again, you're looking at some growth here. You're also looking at the fact that the iPhone 16 sales have outpaced the iPhone 15 sales in markets where Apple Intelligence is available. So they seem to think that Apple Intelligence is an influence of device purchases. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical about that, honestly. What do you guys think?
I'm not actually.
No? Okay.
I think the general public has AI fever, and
definitely.
And so what Apple's doing with their AI efforts on the iPhone specifically, even though it applies to other devices they make, I think that's an important selling factor for the company. I mean, look at the big news, just general news. I was listening to NPR on my drive back to my place tonight, and the top story, one of the top stories, because there's just waves hands at everything happening. But one of the top stories was DeepSeek. And they were talking about it from the perspective of the general public and not us tech gang in our echo chamber.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to hear the new numbers. We're happy. We're all Apple fans here, so I'm happy Apple continues to thrive, and I think it'll continue for a long time to come. I have that confidence. So let's move on to In Touch with Vision Pro this week. Apple did release Vision OS 2.3. It's the operating system that came out in September. 2.3 comes out a little over a month of launch of 2.2, and almost a year after the release of the Vision Pro headset. We talked about that. Pre-orders anniversary was last week, a year ago, and it's next week is going to be when it was actually shipped for the first time. So. Again, not much can be found in the 2.3 update. Bug fixes, security updates. I didn't find anything. Did you, Marty?
No.
I don't think there's much at all.
Nope, not at all. It's snappier, it's faster, and it has a crunchy sound when you run it.
Yeah, that's right. So let's talk about a couple other stories that came out. Vision Pro is now offers 2,000 plus games via NVIDIA's GeForce Now support. Gaming on the Vision Pro isn't yet the device's strong suit, but the recent launch could start to change that. Gamers will now find a massive expansion of new games available, over 2,000 total, thanks to NVIDIA GeForce Now coming to Vision OS. And the cloud gaming library is expanding with Vision OS game options significantly. So looks like it's you got it coming up here soon. I don't see what an actual release date is going to be, but I would think a lot of gamers might be interested into it. But again, I don't know if you're going to talk a gamer who doesn't have a $3,500 Vision Pro that's going to get this. But us fans who have them, I think it's going to be fun. What are your thoughts on this, Marty?
Yeah, of course, I'm not a big gamer, but of course I'm curious to see how it comes and if it's going to involve hand controllers in some way, or if it's going to use sort of the hand movement gesture kinds of things that Apple does with Vision Pro. There's so much happening on the game end of it. I mean, with PlayStation working with Apple to develop controllers that will work on Vision Pro, with the Surreal Touch controller just coming out, and that working with Vision Pro, and now this announcement. I think it's gonna, I would have liked to have it had them all neatly deployed by Apple under some standard Apple branding,
Yeah.
but it seems like they're coming to Apple and Apple's putting them together so they're available on Vision Pro.
Yep.
If Ben was here, he'd talk about Apple's big problem always with trying to
Yeah.
to grab gamers and get a gamer foothold. There's also been some interesting stuff that has come out in the last week. There was a gamer developer conference and they did a survey and they said 28% of those and there's 3,000 people or so, 28% said they're interested and want to develop games for the Vision Pro platform, for Vision OS, which was a positive, and then there's like 43% or so that said they wanted to do it for Meta. That's no surprise there. But for even Apple to be that high on the list in the thinking of game developers was pretty impressive. So I think it's going to burst open.
Yeah,
What do you
the
think, Holden?
appeal.
What?
Yeah, the appeal for game developers is that VR is this incredible technology for games. Has anyone here used an Oculus like for a game before?
Yeah,
It's
certainly.
surprisingly immersive. And I used to demo those headsets, and I'd never met anyone who was not amazed by it. But there's this kind of barrier of entry. And yes, there's a barrier of entry with Vision Pro, but I think we all know that that price will come down. It will become more mainstream over time. And that kind of seems like the best opportunity for people to really get into VR style games in a big way. Like PlayStation VR has done their thing successfully, but your average consumer is not going to buy a PlayStation to get a VR headset, but they might get an Apple Vision in the future for their email or watching movies or whatever they want to do with it. And then now they have access to all these games. And just like the App Store, oh, okay, you'll like someone who's not a gamer they'll game on their phone. So I think that's kind of like, I think that's why there's so much interest for developers, is just because this could kind of be the icebreaker moment for VR gaming. And that'll be, as someone who would like to be more interested in VR games, I would like to see that growth and that kind of the creativity get to flourish in a way where developers know there's profit to be had.
Yep. Jeff, thoughts?
Of course. This is not going to be the straw that breaks the buying camel's back and gets everyone just to rush in and start buying a Vision Pro. But you have to look at this as the totality of the product. And the more that you have that you can do with the product, the more enticing it becomes, even if you're not going to do all those things. So if you have a headset that you can put on and it lets you have your full computer experience and a display that's IMAX screen size, and you can watch movies and you can do chats with all your friends. Oh, and by the way, there are literally thousands of VR games that you can play on it as well. That's a much more enticing package than, yeah, you can have the big screen and there's some video chat stuff, but that's kind of what we have right now. So
yeah. Gaming also allows there to be like, you cannot have this kind of game anywhere else. Whereas with Vision Pro, I feel like most of the apps are something you already do presented to you in a different way. So it kind of adds to that like allure of like, oh, that's the
Yeah.
unique thing that I can do with this.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So next topic here on the Vision Pro. We did put a link in the show notes for that survey that you mentioned, Marty, as well.
Great.
Apple Vision Pro and Kendrick Lamar, an exclusive experience through Apple Arcade. ahead of Kendrick Lamar's Apple Music halftime show at the Super Bowl. It's coming up on February 9th, a couple weeks from as we record this. Kendrick Lamar is going to be ready to be doing that halftime show. And to celebrate the experience ahead of time, Apple Vision Pro is offering an exclusive experience through Apple Arcade. An immersive music game, Synth Riders, is launching as an exclusive Kendrick Lamar Humble Synth Riders experience. It's going to be launching on February 6th before the Super Bowl. So everybody who's an Apple Arcade subscriber, the Humble Synth Riders experience is going to be available exclusively on the Vision Pro. And there's going to be no in-app purchases or packs to unlock, and everything is available through that arcade subscription, which is a great thing. Why do I want to pay for something I'm already paying for, right? So that's going to be so interesting to look forward to. I mean, I know, Marty, you're probably not a big fan of Kendrick Lamar. I mean, he's okay. It's good. He's got okay music, but this could be a trend for something to come for other artists. Huh?
Yeah, I'm really waiting for Synth Riders, which is like Beat Saber for the Vision Pro. I'm waiting for the polka music connection because I would like to do Synth Riders to polka, but I don't think I'll ever see that.
Well,
Oh Lord.
Rule 34. Just saying.
Well, you guys have any other thoughts on this, Alden?
Muse will also be on the app too, which is cool. Muse is a good band.
Yeah. So it's good to see that we're getting some fun stuff on, with music. I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah, no polka.
No polka. Oh yeah, I do. Apple did open up its new store in Miami, Florida, and that was this week as we record. And it's the Apple Miami World Center, which is located right in downtown Miami. It's the 6th official Apple store in the city and one of over 500 worldwide. The opening comes just under 1 year after since the launch of the Vision Pro. But that Apple would include a dedicated side area just for Vision Pro suggests that the popular perception of the company's sentiment is on its cooling is mistaken. Because back in October, they talked about they're going to stop production, it's getting discontinued, and why would Apple commit to having a complete section that's more than what all of us did with the demos going in the middle of the store? So this looks like a picture, if you see the links in the show notes, of like a more kind of semi-private area where you can sit and actually get a good experience with the Vision Pro. What do you think, Olden?
I think it's a good move. It's something that they probably would like to have in more stores, but it'll be impossible. But I think that you're right that the main thing that's important here is if they're building this into a store like that, clearly they're not like feeling
They're not giving up.
They're not giving up, yeah. And also to the whole Vision Pro hasn't done well is so overblown. I mean, everyone knew that a $3,500 headset was not going to sell like the iPhone. We all knew that. It was already speculated before it came out. So why are we surprised now? Like, I don't know. It's we got a long future ahead there, and we'll have a better idea of Apple's confidence with it with Apple Vision when we see the kind of what I think will be the intended mainstream version. So I think we have to all hold back judgment until then. It doesn't make sense to judge it now. Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Marty, what do you think?
Yeah, the picture in this article shows a lot of things. The design is kind of built into the design of the store. And you remember when Vision Pro came out, there were two tables dedicated to it, one for figuring out what lenses you wanted and the other for doing the demos. And then it got squeezed down to one in the middle of the store with a lot of noise and a lot of action going around. And people are saying, see, they're discontinuing the product. This is not going to, this kind of arrangement is not going to show up in Akron, Ohio. No. It's going to be major markets like Miami is the perfect market for having a side room for doing these kinds of demos, maybe Chicago, New York. But looking at the design, it fits very much with the design of what little you can see of the rest of the store. So it fits within that. I'm thinking this could be also an all-purpose room for other kinds of things just besides the Vision Pro. So
Yeah, if they ever have to spin it away. Jeff, your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing with the pundits saying that Vision Pro is doomed, Apple's discontinuing it already, they've scaled back, no one's buying it. Apple told us right out the chute, this is not the mainstream product yet. And this was geared towards early adopters and developers. And changing how they were handling the demos before, where and Marty, not all markets had the two table setup. Like when I went to do the demo in Boulder, it was one table for Vision Pro and the demo. So get your lenses set, do your demo. It was all in one little place. Um, and so anyhow, seeing something like this, it just reaffirms to me that all these people that have been saying, "Oh, it's a dead product already," they have no idea what they're talking about. Apple's playing a long tail game here, and this is just part of it. I know I'm just reiterating what everyone else has already said tonight,
Oh, no.
but
Everyone-
I guess the faster way to say it would have been Holden and Marty are right, and then just shut up after that.
All right.
It's nice to hear that sentiment, though, because I feel like there is just way too much of the opposite sentiment, which is it's doomed. Of course, Apple failed. So it's nice knowing that there are sane people out there.
Well, you could take the name, the product name, Apple Vision Pro out and drop in Apple Watch. We're just replaying the same doom and gloom arguments from when
Absolutely.
Apple Watch came out. And look how that played out.
It's so funny to point that out, actually, because I was just thinking that, they used to you used to have to make an appointment to go to the Apple store and try on the Apple Watch.
Right.
At the very beginning.
Doing that.
Wow.
And then they pulled that back after a while, not because there wasn't interest in the Apple Watch, but there was just this period where people needed to see it, understand it, and then that period wanes, just like it is with the Vision Pro, and it's normalized now. It doesn't need the same, like presence that it did before. And yeah, you're right. Like the Apple Watch didn't really become the way we see it until, like, I say Series 4. That's kind of when it really hit its stride.
Right.
So we're just in the same spot. Yeah. And the first watch was also a mess, way more of a mess than the first Vision Pro headset.
Series Zero, yeah.
So I just thought of something else that could be playing into this. I wonder if Apple was getting feedback from people that did the demo where they felt uncomfortable or awkward or embarrassed to be doing all the gestures and everything they were doing in a space where everyone else could just watch them. And
Good, that's a
put
very
up a
good
little
point.
barrier so
Yeah.
people can feel more comfortable experimenting with Vision Pro.
That sounds
All
very
right.
much like Apple. That makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, that's a lot of floor space though, and a lot of stores can't afford a little separate space. So
I think
Yeah,
Miami
that's.
I think
Miami's
Miami
good.
can. Yeah.
is a good city. There's a lot of well-to-do people in that city that they're going to have some good activity in there. So, all right, one last topic on Vision Pro. Apple's next immersive video film involves bull riding, and it's going to arrive soon. Immersive video on the Vision Pro is probably one of the product's must-try experiences. I'll agree with that. And Apple's first release of the year, 2025, is Man vs. Beast. It arrives next week, which is going to be like the first week of February 2025. Actually, it's going to be Friday the 31st, which is actually tomorrow. So I'm going to. I'm sorry. I thought it was next
they
week.
really
It said
failed
next
on
week.
the timing.
I did. We just got right
No,
on it.
not you, Apple.
Oh yeah.
They'll call Dave
so-
next time. They'll sort out the
The-
timing.
So hang on tight.
The
As we're-
national
Go ahead.
stock show just wrapped up. It's in Denver every year.
Oh,
And it is
okay.
huge.
Oh,
They
I
should
see.
have
Okay.
timed this to roll out with the National Western Stock Show.
Yeah. So hang on tight as professional bull riders take you inside the rodeo and show you what it takes to compete in this dangerous sport. So over the last few months, Apple has gotten in a pattern of releasing 1 to 2 new immersive videos per month for Vision Pro users with different ranges and genres, anything from concerts, scripted short film, music videos, or sports content. So this looks like a fun new twist on the sports genre. So it's going to be interesting to see. I absolutely love these immersive videos. They're just unbelievably amazing. Blow me away. What do you think, Marty?
I am always amazed when these things come out. Apple is attempting another way to make me throw up.
That's right.
This one I'm eating a light lunch for
Yeah.
before I slap it on. And I guess in the article they talk about the next adventure installment is focused on free solo climbing in Majorca.
Oh, that'll be
That's
super cool.
That
yeah,
does sound amazing.
but somebody will eventually look down, and that's when I'll lose my lunch.
All
Okay.
right. So what I'm
Jeff.
hearing is Marty needs to bring his Vision Pro to Mac stock in July, and we're all going to sit there with our iPhones and do immersive recordings of him getting sick while he's watching immersive videos.
We got to have the Vision Pro Part 2 at MacStock, which I missed
Well,
participating in, and then look what happened. I bought one anyway.
When I was doing the demos for Oculus, the parts that always got people was the sense of height, because you really do get a sense of height when you're in these things.
Yeah.
And with Vision Pro, I can't even imagine how much more visceral that will feel with the higher level of detail than you got in the older Oculus headsets. That's going to be, that's going to be
Yeah.
incredible.
I always, up to this point, and maybe I'll see something different in this one. Each one of the videos, the immersive videos that they put out, has a different style and a different experience. So they're demonstrating, look, we can do this we can do a immersive film in a submarine, and you're in the submarine.
Yeah.
You can be up front for a concert, and the singer will come right up to you in your face and sing with you. So I think there's each video at this point has demonstrated some capability of immersive video that works with spatial that you can't get in 2D. And I'm wondering, maybe it's just my imagination, or we're going to see something in this that's going to say, oh, I didn't know they could do that. And they can't do it any other way than to do it this way.
Did they put the camera on the bowl? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
They need to do the
We'll find out
chicken
tomorrow,
cam.
I guess.
Yeah. Our show on Monday was called a very a well-trained bull.
Of course,
because
you mean
we talked about
Vision Profiles podcast.
yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, I'm
Vision
derailing
profile.
us for a second. Have you guys seen the video where they tested a chicken as a gimbal? Because they can't move their eyes. So, you see chickens moving their head around a lot. Their head moves to compensate for the eyes not being able to move. So when they stay focused on a target, because they're crazy little predators, it looks like their head's bobbing the whole time, but if you look closer, you realize their head is completely stationary while the body's moving. So this is the ultimate gimbal view for Marty. We have them put an immersive camera on a chicken and just send it out to do its thing, and that's the video for Marty.
And we
Did you
have a
say
show
immersive
title.
giblets or immersive gimbal?
Well, potato.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Beta this week. iOS 18.3 was released to the public, so was watchOS and tvOS and iPadOS and macOS. So Koya will talk about this, along with some new features in iOS 18.3, iPadOS 18.3, and macOS Sequoia 15.3 that were released today. There were multiple security fixes, including a fix for a vulnerability that may have been actively exploited on some devices. According to an Apple support document, security support document, there was a core media bug that could be used to elevate privileges. Apple said that it is aware of a report that the bug could be actively exploited against versions of iOS before 17.2. Apple fixed the issue and improved memory management. So they're also addressing 20 other vulnerabilities, and one could allow an attacker with a physical access to an unlocked device to access the photos. And I can go on and on. All I got to tell you is, yes, go upgrade, please. This has security fixes. It may not be something you're readily available on, but that's one of the things that you really need to do. Would you guys agree with me on that?
Hard
Always stay on top of your
disagree.
security
Never update
updates.
your phone.
Yeah, I was there was a user group I am involved in. They might revoke my membership after this, but somebody went on a rant about how much they hated the new mail version that was out in
But you can
iOS.
turn off
And I
those
know,
things you don't want.
yeah, yeah, I know, Dave, this is not your favorite. This is not your favorite app to talk about with that, but you can turn them off.
I just said
And
that. We could turn them
yeah,
off.
I
We
know.
talked
Yeah,
about
I
that.
know. There was a long discussion about, if you upgrade, this is the kind of stuff you're going to have to deal with. And so the mood was set for people to not upgrade. And then today somebody posted a message and said, 18.3 is out. Do you think I should upgrade, or is it worth the upgrade? And I was like, it's security fixes. You don't need to answer that question. Upgrade. And yeah, so
I feel there's never a
people,
reason not to. Like even like the new features, you'll get used to it. You'll just get used to it. Just upgrade.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another good reason why you should upgrade to iOS 18.3 is got some visual intelligence and notification summary improvements. For iPhone 16 models, iOS 18.3 adds visual intelligence support for adding events to the calendar app and identifying plants and animals. The update does remove Apple Intelligence notification summaries because news and entertainment apps were preventing some misleading alerts. There was, we talked about that. There was a little bit of a controversy with that. So, but of course, bug fixes, all that fun stuff, it's there. So, again, multiple reasons that you should do your updates on this week. The WatchOS 11.3 was released. Again, there wasn't really much in that release other than the fact that there is a new black Unity watch face, and it's compatible with Apple Watch Series 6 and later, all Apple Watch Ultra models and the SE2. So go out and upgrade that too. tvOS was also released at 18.3. Again, no notable features in the Apple on tvOS. Just it's a good idea to update it just so it has the latest security updates. So, guys, anything to add to those?
I just think the notification summary thing is hilarious. Like, just to be clear, Apple should try to fix it. They definitely should. But I also feel like if you get your misinformation through an AI notification summary, that's even worse than getting your information from a headline, let alone the article. Like, just click on the notification and at least look at the headline at the very least. Like, AI is not perfect. We can't expect it to be perfect. It doesn't think. It just statistical probability. That's all it is. It's basically a magic trick. So I don't know. I kind of felt like I've never heard people complain about the same thing with ChatGPT summarizing the news and getting it wrong. But like here, it had to be this like huge catastrophe. I just find it funny. But again, they definitely should try to fix it. Like, I'm not saying that it's okay, the mistake, but anyway.
Agree with that. Then also a couple things that were added to iOS 18.3. T-Mobile actually, as of iOS 18.3, T-Mobile subscribers with a compatible iPhone and the Starlink beta access are going to be able to connect to Starlink satellites. Apple has quietly worked with SpaceX and T-Mobile to add support to Starlink to its iPhone lineup. I did get the notification as being a T-Mobile customer that they're going to offer this as a beta to try it out. You could take advantage of the Starlink beta, and it'll have a toggle to enable satellite connectivity feature. If you were selected, you can be able to use text via satellite virtually anywhere. So they are doing that. So that was kind of cool to hear that that's happening. So satellite coverages is moving even more. Now, for some reason, if you wanted to uninstall Apple Intelligence by disabling it, you'll save 7 gigabytes of storage. If you really have that problem of that you can't spare 7 gigs of storage on these latest iPhones, unless you have like an iPhone 5 with 32 gigs of RAM, right? Or storage, I mean. So there is a way to go in and remove it because it does take up a lot of space, but why would you want to do that? That's the whole reason you want to try it out, because Apple Intelligence is the wave of the future. You want to try it. So, but you can't do it. Guys, any thoughts? All right. And interestingly enough, Apple did break WatchOS updates on older Apple Watches, and then later they fixed it. Apple accidentally broke up WatchOS updates for some older watch models, according to information that was circulating around social networks. Apple Watches that ended in WatchOS 10.6.1 cannot update to it, but they're not ready for it. But that means Apple bumped the CV required for the OTAs associated with them from 22 to 24 would normally be associated with the late 11.x WatchOS, but it seems like they fixed the issue. So that I guess not a big story, but it was good to see that they fixed it. Other thing about Apple, they explained how to install new firmware on your AirPods. Can you believe it? Apple regularly releases the firmware upgrade, and of course, they always say historically that there's limited information how to initiate an update, but that all changed. Prior to the day, this is what they would say in the subject. They would say you can deliver it automatically while your AirPods are charging and are charging in the Bluetooth range of the iPhone, iPad, or Mac that's connected to Wi-Fi. You can also use your iPhone or iPad or Mac to check if you have the latest versions. So there's a whole list of steps here, 6 steps here. Saying make sure you have your AirPods in Bluetooth range, put your AirPods in their charging case and close the lid, put the charging cable into your charging case, and then plug the other end of the cable into a USB charger or port. Keep the lid closed. Wait 30 minutes. Open the lid, charging case to reconnect your AirPods. I mean, who's going to do this? No wonder why they didn't want to tell anybody how to do it.
The step 3 part where they say you have to plug into the charger case before you plug into a USB port. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah.
It just works.
I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm hearing Jeff Goldblum's voice in my head going, there's no step 3. Oh.
Yeah. So that's iOS 18.3. We can probably going to expect what 18.4 is probably going to get the next. Well, will they release it? It's when will they release it? I should say. Typically, the versions have come out pretty quickly. 3 days was 17. 24 days was 16. So if you're looking at trends here, but probably still waiting on more Apple Intelligence enhancements, including Siri's personal context and Siri's on-screen awareness. So a lot of more Siri improvements that they still haven't done yet. And then they're going to expand into more countries. But we'll see where that goes. It isn't out yet, but beta comes around the corner. Those of us like to be on the beta to check that out. So, all right, let's move on to another topic here. It has been 15 years since the iPad was released. That was this week, January 27th in 2010 is when the first iPad was announced, when Steve Jobs was on stage and showed us the first version of that iPad. It was pretty revolutionary, I think. Not as revolutionary as the iPhone, but I think it was a long time coming with the big display and things like Safari and Mail and Photos, and it's come a long way since that happened. And then ever since then, I think it's been a very successful product for the most part. It's not iPhone numbers, but I think iPads for the most part. I love an iPad. I don't think I'd ever not want an iPad. So, Jeff, how about you? What's your memories of iPad? I remember I owned that first iPad. I remember buying it. So.
I owned that first iPad, and I remember the media event. Tim sitting down in his comfy chair with his iPad, and all of us just immediately coveting the device, and it was a revolutionary product, I think, even though it was like a giant iPhone without the phone in it. I think it was still a revolutionary product. It changed the whole tablet market, just like the iPhone
It
changed
did.
the smartphone market.
It did.
And it was a great device. And I remember when I sold my first gen iPad, because new model came out, got the new model,
Right.
and sold it on Craigslist. Met the guy at a coffee shop, and he comes walking in, and he goes, "You're the iPad guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he just hands me a roll of cash,
Nice.
and and I'm counting it out. I'm like, "Okay, that's all of it." And I hand him the box, and he goes to leave, and I'm like, "Stop! You need to open this box and make sure you're getting what you think you are getting."
Yeah. It could be a bunch of rocks.
Right. But he was just so excited that he was going to get an
That's
iPad
funny.
that it just didn't occur to him that he should look in the box and make sure that what he thought he was buying is what he was getting. And of course, he got exactly what he wanted, and it looked like a brand new iPad because of how I take care of him. But yeah, I mean, today, can you imagine someone being so excited to buy a previous model iPad used that they would just throw a wad of money at you? And I mean, like an ear to ear grin the whole time,
That's fun. That's
and
great.
go to leave with a box without even looking to see what's in it.
Oh, Jeff, it happens all the time. You on Reddit, you
Not
see
when
all
you
these
buy
people.
from me, it doesn't, because I'm going to make you look in that box.
Yeah.
This guy on Reddit, he just bought a PlayStation 5, but inside the box is a PS4 box. Then inside the PS4 box was a dead PS3.
Oh,
It
that
definitely
just
happens.
hurts.
Yeah, it
So
was
it's like
pretty
those
bad.
little Russian dolls of disappointment.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I remember getting this first iPad, and when it arrived, I was traveling or at some conference or something, and I had pictures sent to me of my ex-son-in-law unboxing it in my
Oh, now
living.
I get why he's your ex-son-in-law.
Yep. So memories. They sold 300,000 iPads that first month in April of 2010. So that I think as it continued on, then the revenue was just amazing, and ever since, iPad has been a synonymous. So many companies are buying iPads to use in work related usage, and you see it more and more now. I mean, the battery life is just phenomenal. When you have
Yeah.
a computer tablet that you're using working in a field job, then and the battery lasts 3 hours versus having an iPad where it'll last you pretty much your entire day's work. So
Mm-hmm.
One of the interesting things with the Apple or the iPad like kind of lead up that I thought was interesting was we didn't even know what operating system it was going to run on. Like we weren't sure if it was going to be running Mac OS or iOS. We know, or yeah, it was iPad OS when it first came out, and then
no, when it first came out, it was iOS.
I thought it was it was iPhone OS, and then with the iPad they changed it to iOS. So that's right. Okay,
Right.
iPad
So
OS
both
was
iPad and iPhone had
afterwards,
the
yeah.
same iOS. Yes, I think it was iOS 5.
Yeah,
when it
because
first
they
came out.
changed that with that one. The whatchamacallit, but also there was this rumor of like a sub $999 price point or sub 1,000, and we thought that meant $999. So the 499 price point was like that was an amazing moment
Oh, yeah.
where it
People's
became
heads exploded.
yeah, that was huge.
Yeah. So good memories. iPad is here to stay, and I think it's gonna continue to be a great product as it is. We all enjoy it. So a little more things is I'm going to talk about here. In touch with the Mac this week. Apple did release Mac OS Sequoia. It's got Genmoji, yippee, and it was launched. Yeah, our third
Trying to
major
hold your
update.
enthusiasm there, Dave.
Yeah, yippee, Genmoji. Yeah, and
I
now
like it, it's
Macs
fun.
now support Apple Intelligence. Now you can create custom emoji characters. I can't wait to do that. So just a number of subtle improvements. I'm not going to go through too much of this. Just go ahead. It does have some security updates. Go ahead and run the updates on that. It's recommended. I highly recommend doing that just because of the security updates. Apple is going to be patching web browsers vulnerabilities. It's affecting recent Macs and iPads and iPhones. There was 2 speculative execution attacks that impact recent Apple chips, according to data was shared by Georgia Tech students that discovered the vulnerabilities, named Slap and Flop. the two security flaws could allow attacker to use malicious web page to spy on the contents of other web pages, give attackers remote access to browsing history, credit card data, emails, location information, and all that crazy fun stuff. Several of the Apple A series and M series chips are affected, including the M2 and later, and the A15 and later, which is the following devices: 2022 and later Mac notebooks, 2023 and later Mac desktops, and 2021 and later iPads, and 2021 and later iPhones. So Apple has not yet patched the flaws as we're recording this. So if you want information, this link is in our show notes. And scary stuff, I must say. But what that is kind of typical these days, what goes on with that stuff. So before we go into the news, Marty, you brought up this great little device. It's made by a company called Plaid.
Cloud. Plaud.
Yeah, it's a note voice recorder with a case and transcribing and summarized with AI technology, supporting 112 different languages, 64 gigs of memory, and it connects to the back of your iPhone with MagSafe. So tell us a little bit about this.
They have two devices. They have a Plaud Note, which is a kind of connects via MagSafe to the back part of your phone. It has an app, and then you connect it to the app, I think through a Bluetooth arrangement. But it has a couple of buttons. It's very thin. It looks, if I wasn't using this for the device that slides out of this case, I'd be putting my credit cards in it. It's really very thin and fits on the back securely with MagSafe. But it has a button on it that you can press, and it will start recording. And as such, it's not just that it's a good recorder, but the software is really good at taking and transcribing what the audio is, and then turning it into meeting notes. And they have other templates that you can apply to it. I've just got this last week and have been playing with it. The other option is the Plaud Note Pin. And it comes as a bundle, and it's this little dongle device that you can attach various things on it. This has magnetically attached a clip on it that you can then clip to your pocket, and it almost feels like Star Trek. You tap it, and it will start recording, and you tap it again, and it'll stop recording, and basically use the same functions through the app to be able to do the transcription and organizing. And I haven't gotten into, they supposedly at one level, for a base level, you get it, and you get 300 minutes a month of usage. You can get up to, for $80 a year, you can get 1,200 minutes a month. Well, since I bought a second device and put it under my account, they magically gave me 1,200 minutes for a month. Oh. That comes with a whole series of templates that you can apply to whatever you transcribe with. And then I think the professional level is like $250 a year. And it gives you industry based catalogs, or dictionaries, I should say. So it will be able to you can load those various dictionaries, and it will be able to use the words in the transcription of what you're doing. So it's pretty good. Cletus has a question in the chat room. He said, how much? 160 for the Plaud Note, which is the thing that sticks on the back of your phone. And then for the pin, probably around 170, 180. And sometimes you'll see some sales on them through Amazon. But with the Note, you get the clip, you get the thing you can hang around your neck, or you also get this, I think, pretty cheap looking watch band if you want to actually put the dongle on as a watch. But so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I shared the link in the chat. And what Marty's talking about is our chat room when we're live streaming here. That's youtube.com/intouchwithios. And Cletus is out there, Brett, and then we're glad to see other people out there listening to us while we're doing the show. You can do that every week on Thursday nights. Anybody have any other questions on this? The links to both of these devices will be in the show notes. Check it out. It sells on Amazon. It's a pretty cool device, and thanks for sharing that with us, Marty. Appreciate that. So let's go to some of the news before we wrap up this week. Apple might start buying ads on X, or formerly known as Twitter, again. Apple held discussions with X, formerly Twitter, and about once again showing ads on the social media site. And the talks are said to have taken place in recent weeks. In an attempt to maintain a relationship with X, Apple was one of the companies that did not pause ads buying when Elon Musk took over the company, but Apple did stop buying ads in 2023 after Musk made some pretty anti-Semitic comments that evident that Apple ads were being shown alongside some pro-Hitler content. So given that Musk recently made a hand gesture to that effect, that widely interpreted a Nazi salute at Donald Trump's inauguration, Apple's decision to resume purchasing ads on X could be perceived as ill-advised. Musk, of course, as we know, is a close Trump advisor, deeply involved with the Trump administration, but it could influence Trump's decision on concerning tech companies like Apple. Apple CEO Tim Cook donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration and it did attend the event, and so did other tech CEOs. So does that mean that they've had some, that he had some discussion with Elon Musk? Who cares? Or maybe he did, maybe he didn't. This is kind of a political story, but I don't want to get too political on this, but you guys just give us your general thoughts on this. Go ahead, Jeff, I'll start with you.
Of course, you wanted to start with me on this one. All right, here we go. It's so hard to not turn this into a political thing, but I will try to not do that. Look at what the big businesses were having to do in Germany in the 1930s. Yep. And it parallels what you're seeing some of the businesses doing in the United States right now. So with that in mind, my guess is that Tim Cook felt like he needed to throw $1 million at Trump to stay in good graces, because you regardless of what type of economy you have, and in our case it's a pseudo capitalist system. If you have a government that has decided they don't like you, and that's the country that you're based in, you now have big problems. So throw $1 million to hope that problem goes away. And maybe this consideration to advertise again on X is related to that as well. Like, let's just throw some money at a problem to make it go away for us, so we can write out what could be potentially a bad political situation for us. Maybe that's what's happening. Or maybe Tim Cook felt like he was supporting the candidate that he felt was best for the job, and Apple now feels like X is a platform where it's worth their money and potential hit to reputation to advertise on again. I don't know.
Go ahead, Alden. What do you think?
I think that not to make it too political, but after Trump winning, it kind of points to a different culture than maybe Apple thought there was before. So before, they thought it was palatable to kind of say, oh, well, we're not going to be on X, but now, clearly most of the country's probably not going to care if they're on X. I think that's definitely a part of it. But I also just think that, X is, it has its problems, but it is still a very heavily used social media platform. And there's also a lot of tech commentary that happens on that social media platform. So I think it just makes sense for Apple to be there to begin with. But in kind of like a bigger sense, like something that's always kind of troubled me is this idea that advertisers can have an influence over the platform that they want to advertise on by threatening to withdraw. And this idea of, you know, oh, because we don't like the content that we're next to, that's a bad thing, and we don't want people to feel like we're associated. And I kind of feel like, well, on social media, I think it's very clear that association doesn't exist. It's different when a brand is sponsoring a particular YouTube video, or they want to be featured on the Tonight Show or on The Simpsons, and they're making a choice to be at that time slot. But with social media, it's like you can do some finagling with the demographics you're targeting, to an extent, but at the end of the day, I don't think that it's really feasible to expect that Coca-Cola is not going to show up at some point next to some content that doesn't even have to be extreme content, but just like content that Coca-Cola doesn't feel represents them. And I kind of just feel like on social media, I just feel like that should be expected and should be fine.
Yeah.
Now, I can see where a company could say, yeah, we know this is how it works. However, we're just not comfortable supporting that platform because of the content that's there. And it could be a subset of content. It could be the overall theme that a platform supports. It could be anything. And then if the company decides this doesn't fit with us as what the company represents, okay, then don't advertise there. But you don't need to threaten, say, if you don't change the way you run your platform, we're going to leave. Just do it. Either run your ads or decide it's not the right platform for you for whatever reason, and then just don't do it.
YouTube has run into this a few times with what are called like adpocalypses, where advertisers threatened to pull out, and then YouTube actually changed their algorithm to accommodate those advertisers. So there kind of has been that power dynamic that kind of plays out there. But I feel like with Twitter or X, obviously Elon Musk complicates things because he puts himself so much at the forefront of it as a brand. So there's obviously that is a huge implication here. But at the same time, X is a very general platform. Like you can go to X as a user and never see political stuff if you're not following those people and don't engage with that content. Although the for you might complicate things there, but like if you're in your follow only section, like you're not going to see any of that stuff. And so, is Apple really going to forgo advertising on that platform because of a subset of the platform? But again, Elon Musk kind of changes it from being subset to, defining in the sense that he's kind of at the head of it. There's so many people there who are outside of that bubble.
All right, Marty, get your last word on this.
I don't know if I can. I agree with what Holden and Jeff has said, but I don't know if I can talk much about this without cursing. So I will tell you what my dad. I'll tell you what my dad taught me growing up. If it walks like a musk and talks like a musk and acts like a musk and salutes like a musk, it's probably a musk.
All right, it's a good way to move on to another story. Apple TV Plus is now introducing Sunday night soccer with weekly MLS matches. Apple Major League Soccer introduced this. It's going to be the Apple TV Plus subscribers will be able to watch a featured MLS match every Sunday evening during the upcoming 2025 season at no additional cost. In the U.S., Apple TV Plus is priced at $9.99 a month and $99 a year, and it's also included in Apple One's subscription bundles. But Apple TV Plus now offers Friday Night Baseball for MLB, soccer for MLS as part of its growing sports portfolio. Looks like we're going to get more sports. If you want to get that MLS season pass subscription, it's now available for the 2025 season. It's going to be priced at $14.99 a month if you're a fan, or $99 for the full season. Subscription also lets you watch select preseason matches. And all the regular season matches, as well as the MLS Cup playoffs and more. T-Mobile is going to be offering qualified customers for complimentary access to MLS Season Pass this season. It'll be redeemed in the T-Life app, which will be on Tuesday, February 18th. That's cool. I'll get to get one of them. Get that. And is also going to be available through Comcast and DirecTV for the season. So, this is the third year of the 10-year partnership that Apple has with MLS. What do you think on this, Marty?
I have been reluctant to push the button every year when it says, "Do you want to buy MLS?" And then I go ahead and push the button, and I get about one game in a week. So getting it
Oh,
free
nice.
on Sunday nights might be just as good. But I say that now, but I'll probably wind up pushing the button.
Well, I won't have to because I'll get my T-Mobile free.
Yeah, I know you. You love to say, I get this with T-Mobile.
Well, just like MLB TV, I get that for free too.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on, what do you think?
I don't pay attention to sports, so I don't really have like an opinion on this.
Okay, no problem. And Jeff, I know you don't either, but you always have an opinion.
I want an option to be able to make the sports button in the Apple TV interface go away. That's how
Agreed.
little interest I have in this. However, I get how important the whole spectator sports industry is, and Apple having deals like this is super important because it does add to that sense of credibility for Apple TV as a streaming platform.
And they do MLB so well. I mean, the shows they do on Friday and Saturday, is it, or just Friday? They do with MLB. It is so well produced, and the stream is so clear. And I'd be curious to see whether any of that kind of drifts over to MLS, whether they get to do their thing on a Sunday night.
All right, let's move on. Couple more stories till we close out here. Netflix is bringing one button recording download feature. I'm sorry, it's a full season download feature in the iPhone and the iPad. They have introduced a season download button in the iPhone and iPad users, making it possible to download the entire season of a series with a single tap for offline viewing. The feature was previously only available to Android users. Makes no sense. To date, Netflix subscribers using iOS and iPadOS were required to download each episode individually, which could be time consuming. Now, full seasons can be downloaded directly from the show's display page, where the option available next to the share button. Subscribers can continue to manage their downloaded content through the Netflix tab. So, Netflix introduced offline viewing back in 2016, and they've expanded the feature. So, this is nice to see that if you like to download your apps when you're going to go on a trip and you'd be able to get the whole season, I would have time to watch the entire season probably, depending on how many episodes. But hold on, what do you think on this?
It actually makes me wonder, like, why Android first, and I wonder if it's because Android phones have the option for external storage, and iPhones more recently have had like a reasonable amount of storage as the starting. And I wonder if that was kind of the holdup. People just go and say, "Oh yeah, I want to download the whole first season of whatever show," and they don't have the space for it. They wanted to avoid that, maybe. Make the user not feel like they couldn't get the whole show, so like they just kind of encourage them to do one at a time, and then they'd find the limit that way. But yeah, because it is like an odd thing. Like it's they have the ability to download. Why not this one button that like just automates pressing more buttons? Really, like
pretty much.
Pretty simple. But yeah,
What do you think, Mark?
I wonder if storage was the reason it was held back.
That could be. What do you think, Marty?
Does this mean it makes it more convenient for me to download a whole season of a show that I want to see and binge watch it, and then I can drop my Netflix until the next season comes out?
No, you guys still have your. You gotta still have your account. Jeff, last word on this.
Marty, I like how you think. Okay, Holden, I had never thought about the whole thing about maybe it was a storage related thing. But yeah, maybe that's it. That said, for me, yeah, it's kind of too little, too late. The fact that I can't AirPlay content from my iPad to a television, or through Apple TV, that's a horrible problem, and it's stupid that's a limitation that we have, and then raising the prices on us as well.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
So now my Netflix subscription this month went up to $18 a month, and and I can't use my iPad to let my parents watch TV shows that they want to see when I'm with them. At that point, it was like, nope, I'm done. Um, so I'm not a Netflix subscriber anymore. I realized I'm soapboxing now. Go me. Anyhow, um, yeah, okay, fine.
I agree with 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's not
it's
worth
fine
it.
that they added this feature. It should have been there already, but maybe the memory thing was an issue. But yeah, you know what? Netflix, you are pricing yourself out of users.
HBO
Yeah.
Max is like 20.99 now if you want the like 4K, because I have a 4K TV. I want to watch the 4K movie. And it's just like I will now just have Apple TV as the default because it's built into Apple One, and I'll just get
Hmm.
one other streaming service on the side. There's no point in like having all of them all the time. The content will likely still be there the next time you go back. Like it's so expensive. It's crazy expensive. It used to be $10 a month for Netflix.
Yeah.
I still get my T-Mobile perk though. Okay, so I don't pay full price.
Do you get
Yeah.
ads though?
This is turning into T-Mobile this week,
I know.
or this
Oh,
week in
no
T-Mobile.
ads.
Holden, on the ads thing, I saw an article a few days ago where they were speculating that one of the reasons that the high-end tier on Netflix is so high and the standard ad-free tier is high enough that for a lot of us it's like it's not worth it anymore. But the ad-supported tier doesn't change. It's because Netflix makes more money off of people being on the ad-supported tier, and they're trying to get people to drop down to the ad-supported tier where they'll make more money on them.
Right. Well, then the
Makes
other thing with
100% sense, and I don't like it.
I don't
the other
like
thing
it
with the
either.
ad-supported tier is you aren't getting all of the shows. Is there some exclusives?
Right? Yeah, you don't even get all the
Can't see.
content.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's infuriating.
Yeah.
They kind of did. Wow, interesting.
all right, two more shorties here. Windows 11. We know we all love Windows, right? The start menu phone integration now includes iPhone support. This is a blog post for Windows Insiders. Microsoft has announced that the start menu phone integration on a Windows 11 machine is now works with iPhone. Feature previously was only working with Android. Well, no surprise there. And the phone integration now allows you to share files more easily on a PC with an iPhone. And Microsoft does detail other things here. When you connect an iPhone, the users will now be able to access their phone's features directly from the start menu. The seamless integration allows iPhone users to enjoy the same benefits as Android users. Oh, yippee, oh, yay. So just anybody's out there using Windows, I don't know, anybody listens to this show that uses Windows, at least as their main machine, you now have that option. I'll leave it at that. Unless
You
you
know,
wanna
I'm
add
so
something,
glad
Jeff.
Microsoft is right on top of this.
Yeah, it's only been,
I mean,
what?
considering the iPhone is such a new product, only
It
18
is.
years on the market,
Brand new. Yeah, brand
and
new.
they're
They waited
finally
it out to find out if it was going to catch or not.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
They might take it away since the phone sales dropped in the last quarter.
Last story. CVS, so that fine pharmacy chain, is now tests letting iPhone users unlock product cabinets without an employee. CVS is testing a new feature that is designed to allow iPhone and Android users to unlock product cabinets to retrieve an item without having to summon an employee. Many stores like CVS were locking with locked cabinets for items that are often shoplifted. No surprise. That was cutting down on retail theft. Locking them up, however, was inconvenience for shoppers because the employee had to be summoned to retrieve it for the customers. And then CVS's CVS Health's Chief Technology Officer said that people really dislike the lock cabinets. Well, what a surprise! Which is why the chain is testing this new procedure. So the CVS shoppers who have the CVS app with a CVS account, activate Bluetooth, and connect in-store Wi-Fi can now unlock the product cabinets with an iPhone. It's being tested in a number of retail locations, and it could be expanded to 10 or 15 stores. If it's successful, it could get released out to all locations. Are we surprised with this, Jeff?
Holy forking shirt balls, CVS, and every other company that thinks that they need to put their locking cabinets over every fracking product they sell. And then trying to make us feel like, hey, we're doing you a favor because we're going to make it so you can unlock it with your own iPhone. Please. No, this is so consumer unfriendly across the board. And as someone who worked retail for a long time, that's how I paid my way through college. Yay, money. Um, if you have a problem where you need to put every single product you sell under lock and key in a store like that, you have a different problem, and it's not going to be solved by putting all your products under lock and key. So you know what? Screw CVS and screw this bone that they're throwing to people saying, hey, you can unlock it with your iPhone. No, this is just a way to treat your customers. It's a bad way to run your business. And I'll stop right there so you don't have to do any edits or add an explicit tag.
So, someone who just joined into our chat room, Kelly Gamont. How are you doing, Kelly? She says crackpot theory, CVS isn't really a drugstore. It's a printing company that sells things. And then she also says if you work IT, it kind of lacks then the work PC folks might like this. So, Holden, you have any word on this?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with Jeff in the sense that, like, it's ridiculous the cabinets have to be locked in the first place. Given that's the situation that they're in, there is a cleverness to this, which is that if you have to use your phone to unlock the cabinet, then they probably have your location with the CVS app. So if you do steal something, they know where you're at, and you will be caught.
It's also a great way to do customer tracking throughout the store.
Right.
Which Apple has been doing for a long time now. They have the iBeacons everywhere in their stores. And that's valuable data. How long are they standing there?
Yep.
Right.
Like, how long are they looking at it? Which, yeah, it's wild, the data they get.
Last
But
word.
if your business requires you to put this level of security to keep people from stealing deodorant, your business has a different problem.
Yep. Final word from Marty.
As a regular buyer at CVS, I'm glad that I don't have to call a manager to unlock the cabinets for me to get my razor blades or my personal massage devices anymore.
Our dark, horrible nightmare is finally over.
Marty has a collection of
gosh.
personal massage machines.
And on that note,
Oh, Dave, sorry about soapboxing on you.
oh no. On that note, thanks everybody for being here tonight. We had a great show. It was amazing discussions this week, and we're going to go ahead and wrap up. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Mastodon or Blue Sky at In Touch with iOS. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios. We saw Cletus, we saw Brett, we saw Webb, and then we saw Kelly. I'm glad to see you, Kelly. And you can go there, watch the live stream in live, or view the past live streams as well as listen to past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discuss are flipped in that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Podcasts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, many others. Just better yet, go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are out there on that website. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Blue Sky or Mastodon at DaveG65. Holden Lepardo, are you on social media? But anyway, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, even though I'm in the real world. I won't give my address, though, because, we're on the internet.
Yeah. So thanks for being here, Holden.
Thank you for having me.
Marty Gensius, thank you for being here as always. Where can people
It's a
find you?
great, it's always a great time. You come up with great articles and great things to talk about. So I appreciate
Yeah.
it. You can find most of my stuff and connect with me at the website, thepodtalk.net, which has the different podcasts and video casts that I produce or I'm on. So thanks for having me, Dave.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, Jeff Cammett, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Where can people find you?
Well, first, thank you for putting up with me because I know that's a lot. So when I'm not emotionally supporting Kelly Guimond's crackpot theories, you can find me on the various social medias as Jay Gamet. The ones that I'm active on right now are Mastodon and I'm getting better at Blue Sky, and I'm working on migrating myself away from Instagram into PixelFed. So I'm posting a little bit there now too. Then for shows, Tuesdays on Chuck Joiner's In Touch with iOS. Nope. Dave, you haven't been fired.
This is
That's
better than the
your
Max
show,
and
and
the
it's
Big
on
Show.
Thursdays. And Chuck's show is the other one where he talks about whatever. So Mac Voices Live, that's the one on Tuesdays. Then there's the stuff out of the UK. The Big Show, that's on Thursdays, and the Mac Show, that's on Fridays. And then, all right, two more. The Context Machine, Brian Chaffin and I do that, and Retro Rewatch, Patrice Brendamore and I do that.
Okie dokie. Thank you for listening. Thank you all for being here. We really enjoyed doing this show and appreciate you being here until next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon. Nice job, guys. That was a great show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
that was a
fun.
good one. There was a lot more to talk about than I thought there was going to be. I'm like, oh, this is a slower week, and it definitely wasn't.
But I'm the whiz. I moved all the articles around and get them all in.
Yeah, I was watching that yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what my dysfunction is that causes me to swap you and Chuck for shows.
That was the first
it's
time you
not
did
like
that,
I
actually.
confuse who you guys are.
It's called Dave Chucklia.
Dave Chuck. Oh, I think I saw that. Wasn't that on Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Might have been. Maybe it was free.
Yeah, it's an after school special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
My Life with Dave Chucklia.
It was pretty good. I mean, you wouldn't think that they would get into such adult topics in an 80s after school special, but here we are.
Kelly said, "Hi, Holden. I'm Kelly, resident chaos agent. Nice to see you. You've been on the show with her before."
Oh, yes. Hi, Kelly. How's it going? I think last time I was on with her, or was it the time before that?
Time for that, I think.
Time for that? Okay, yeah.
She hasn't been on the show for a while.
Well, she should come back.
Yes. Lawler
Well,
states.
isn't it because of the restraining order?
It must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get
See you,
that
Webb.
a lot.
Yeah, you can't be on the same Zoom
Yeah,
call,
well-
but chat on Zoom is enough distance legally. So,
Right.
yeah.
So,
Well, I gotta head out. Actually, I gotta
all
I gotta
right,
make
I'm gonna-
a call. But
stop
thanks
live
for inviting
stream.
me again,
yeah, thanks
and
for being here.
I'll hopefully see you guys soon.